Hi and welcome. Today's video is going to be basic box making, and this is going to be a video I'm going to refer to time and time again because I'm going to steer away from making the boxes in my videos and more of showing you how I finish them, because that's the fun part. That's what makes them different. And so this video is just something basic that shows you how I make my boxes, and I make them the same way every single time. In this particular video for this box, I have chosen to use a 1x4 piece of lumber for the base. And I did that because the pint canning jars and these little like cans that you would get, you know, your green beans or your canned corn or whatever, it will hold those. It will hold other kinds of miscellaneous food jars that you keep around. And then the sides, I have chosen to use just some basic lumber that I got off of Facebook Marketplace. It's a very thin material, but it's really good quality lumber. It's rough sawn, so it gives it some character. When I put the boxes together, I put the sides on first. So obviously you got to do some measurements, you have to do some cutting. But once I get all the pieces cut out, then I will glue the sides on, and I use my brad nailer to assemble this. Now, if you didn't have a brad nailer or some kind of electric nail gun, you could just use regular hammer and nails. The wood glue will actually hold it together for the most part. It does a really good job. But you need a little bit, I would say, on the corners particularly, just to make sure you keep it together, So regular hammer and nails would be fine if you don't have any kind of power tool like this. I line up the front and the back with the sides, and this is a thinner material for the sides, so you just have to be careful and make sure that your nails don't go through, or make sure you can't see them. Make sure they're actually going through the wood material. Because sometimes I get a little crazy or sideways with my nail gun and, you know, shoot one through and you can see it through the outside or the inside. So you want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and nothing is coming out. And if it does, you just get some pliers or something and cut it or pull it out and just put it back together the way it needs to be. Basically, that's it. The box is assembled, and now you have to decide how you want to finish it. You want to make sure you sand it. I sanded the pieces before I put it together, but you want to make sure like your corners and things are nice and smooth. So I did give it a sanding after I was done assembling the box. And at this point, I have decided to give it a whitewash paint job. So I put some white paint in a cup, added quite a bit of water. It's really, really thin. And I'm going to go ahead and just brush that on. And in addition to the paint, when it's completely dry, you'll want to go ahead and I use spray sealer, and I do that outside. But I will give it a coat of spray sealer. I use the matte finish generally, just so that if for some reason it would get wet or, you know, something sticky gets on it, you can wipe it off and the paint doesn't come off. So in addition to the paint, you'll want to make sure you give it a nice coat of spray sealer. You could use a brush-on sealer too if that's all you had. I just think the spray sealer is convenient. It dries really fast, and on projects like this, that's what I use. All right, the paint is dry, and I've done the bottom. All of it is painted, and you can see kind of, because that wood is rough sawn, you can see some of the wood texture coming through. So I absolutely love it. All right, so I have decided to put a ribbon around this box, and it's like a burlap ribbon with a denim accent through the middle of it there. I've just given it a nice tie, and I'm going to cut off my ends to make sure that those look nice and finished. And I sometimes make bows out of the ribbon to match, but on this one I decided just to use an artificial flower. So I cut the back of the artificial flower off. I'm going to add some hot glue, and then I'm just going to put it onto that knot of the bow. I don't really want to stick it to the box itself, but I'm just going to lay it on the knot of that bow and hold it for just a little bit until it sticks, and then it's dry and we are finished. So at this point, you can put those canning jars back in there. You can paint some cans to match your colors of your project and use that. But this is the box, and this is how I make them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.